it's Crystal at MrsHappyHomemaker.com, and today I'm going to share with you a recipe from this old cookbook from 1967 called Baked Chicken and Butter with Cream. It was actually the signature recipe for a place called Stephenson's Old Apple Farm. This is one of the cookbooks that I have picked up along the way. I like to do a little bit of cookbook collecting. I actually run antiquecookbooks.com in addition to running the food blog where I sell antique cookbooks. This may or may not go into the store. It's pretty brittle and kind of falling apart, but this recipe is super delicious and I wanted to share it with you. So I've got one large fryer chicken. This is about 6 pounds cut up. I've got some water in another dish, and I have the flour seasoning mixture in this one. Now in here is a half a cup of flour with 1.5 teaspoons of salt, a half a teaspoon of paprika, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And I'm just going to stir that up. Now I'm going to take this chicken and I'm going to dip it into the water, and then I'm going to dip it into the seasoning mixture. And then I'm going to put it in my baking dish, skin side down. And I'm going to do the same thing with all the chicken pieces until the chicken is gone. So the recipe calls for a half a cup of flour, and the seasonings I said earlier, I doubled everything that the recipe called for. So instead of a half a cup of flour, I used a cup of flour. I also used 3 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of paprika, and half a teaspoon of pepper. Had to look at the recipe here and double it in my head so I could tell y'all. So definitely need to double that breading. Now I have all my chicken dipped in the water and breaded in the seasoned flour. I'm going to take some butter and put a little pat of butter on each piece of chicken. I'm going to put this in my oven on 350 degrees for 30 minutes, and then I'm going to pull it out and go on to the next step. Now I'm going to add a half a cup of dry milk to my bowl and 1.5 cups of hot water. And I'm going to whisk that together. And now I'm going to pour this milk around the chicken. I'm going to put this back in the oven for another hour and 15 minutes on 350 degrees. Okay, so this is the most tender chicken. It's like fried chicken almost, but it's got this like buttery cream sauce at the bottom. Oh my goodness, you guys, it is so good.